G'day Hammerheads, welcome back to the bench, and we've got a very special episode today. Now, yes, I do say that basically every time, but I really mean it today because we have the Hilti TE-6 Nuron. So if you're not familiar, Hilti is coming out of Liechtenstein, the tiny European country, and that's about all I know about Liechtenstein, other than my concrete guy comes from there too, so shout out to you, Ronaldo. And this is of course the 22 volt Nuron platform, which came out a few years ago. Hilti basically released a whole new platform of cordless tools, and a lot of them were pretty similar. A lot of them were upgrades, like this particular one. And Hilti tends to think really long term as a company, so this is probably going to be their platform for about the next 15 years. So get used to it if you're on Nuron. Now there are a whole bunch of digital and integration features that Hilti does include with their current tools. I did a video some time ago breaking down a lot of that cool stuff, so go check that one out if you want. And today we're just going to stick with this guy, which is basically a 3-mode 1-inch-ish, so 26-28 millimeter rated rotary hammer. So let's take a look at the features on this guy. Up the top we got basically the best depth rod in the business. It is ribbed for his pleasure, and it's super easy to set. You can just pull the little catch down with your thumb, slide it up, and that thing does not move once you've set the depth. The handle itself has a multi-piece choker sort of thing on there, so really easy to rotate. If, like me, you've spent a lot of time unscrewing these bloody things to get them in the right position, you are gonna like that. This is the first model up that includes a quick change chuck as well. So if you like, you can get a 3-jaw chuck to stick in there, and that'll do you for your core drills, drilling timber, drilling steel, all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't use that feature myself, but they are popular in Europe, I think. A lot of Bosch hammers will have it. Even Milwaukee makes some models in the European market that have it. They're handy for a lot of stuff. But what sets Hilti apart is they also make this bloody right angle SDS chuck. So you can do right angle drilling with your TE-6. Now, I've never used one of these, but damn, I'd love to give it a try. Unfortunately, they cost about 800 bucks, or about as much as this drill did. So I won't be getting one unless I can get some donations going. So like and subscribe and all that stuff. So this one also got ATC, active torque control, which will stop the drill. So it's got a motion sensor, which detects if your bit is binding up. A lot of drills have that nowadays, great to see. Active vibration reduction, so that is this counterweight thing inside here, which basically offsets the bouncing of the hammer, and that reduces your vibration a little bit actively. It's also got your passive, just springy handle. Hilti does have a few dust extractor options for this guy. You can have an onboard extractor, plus a whole bunch of other stuff that they make, so check that out at their website. And it is 3 modes, so drill only, hammer drill, there's this chisel angle adjusts kind of feature, and then hammer only. So this is the first one up in Hilti's range that has the hammer only function. If you get one of the smaller ones, it will not have that. Now in terms of size, it is pretty similar to the TE-4, that's the one on the left. So this one is a very capable tool. It does have no chipping function, but otherwise its performance is great. I've done a very thorough video on this one, so go check that out, but we'll see that again in a minute. And let's look at the specs. So here's the star of our show in bold, and price almost $900, dude. Weight 2.8 kilos, capacity 28 millimeters. Yeah, Hilti's done something weird with this Nuron generation. They've rated both of these to be 28 millimeters, even though the TE-4 is a fair bit smaller. They also say the optimum range is up to about 18 millimeters, which makes a lot more sense. But if we look at the impact force and these other parameters here, this is basically spec'd to be a 26 millimeter 1-inch kind of hammer. Interestingly, they've got the smaller TE-4 and the TE-6 revving exactly the same RPM. In fact, the same as the old version of the TE-4 as well. Now, they wouldn't have built all 3 of these with the exact same motor, but for some reason they've just decided that 1050 RPM is the speed that they like. And let's take a look at the revs. Basically spot on what they advertise, very impressive. You'd think it's easy to do, but very few tool makers actually get their revs exactly right. And let's have a look at the slightly lower, 1009. And let's check the weight. So TE-6 is 2.9 kilos. TE-4 is about 2.4 kilos. All right, so that's enough yapping. Let's get drilling. First test, as usual, is drilling 12 millimeters into 32 MPa concrete. Hammer drill mode, please. Alrighty, and a 12 millimeter speed drill. Where is our Hilti? All right, there she is. Well, towards the front of the pack. So this is every tool that we've tested with this particular test, and aside from this little Makita, all of these guys are rated to 28 millimeters or above. So the Hilti is basically trailing only the very biggest, most powerful hammers we've tested, aside from that little Makita, which in this test is a little bit of a freak. And the star of our show, the TE-6, was about 10% faster in that test than the TE-4. And our next test is the max capacity. So in this case, Hilti rates this guy up to 28 mil. This series of drill bits only goes up to 26, so that's the maximum for this test. Let's see how she goes. Alrighty, and the maximum capacity speed drill. Let's see how our Hilti went. Yeah, further down towards the back. So there she is towards the back of this very large data set, but don't forget these are all drilling different sizes depending on what the manufacturer rates them for. All the ones with a star, they got 26 millimeter bits, and all of these ones at the end here are the 26 millimeter hammers that we've tested, the 1-inch hammers, and Hilti is basically ahead of every single one of them. Now there are a bunch of others that got that same 26 mil drill bit, so that's 28 millimeters, 28, that one's like 34. So basically the TE-6 is on the border between all the 26 millimeter hammers and all the 28 and above. And the TE-4, which we saw on the bench earlier, that one got an 18 millimeter drill bit for its test, so much faster. That's why it wasn't shown together. And next up, not really a test, more of a demonstration, just a little bit of chiseling. So some light breaking in 32 MPa concrete, hammer only mode, self sharpener like that. See how she goes. Anyway, hammerheads, there you go. Hopefully that's been informative for you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and you know, in doing so, you help promote my channel, as well as helping me to pay off all these tools, because of course I don't get freebies from tool companies. Basically have bought every single thing I've ever tested, except for one which was loaned to me. So in terms of which one you would get, I mean, if you're into Hilti, if you need that kind of quality, that kind of power, personally I am really liking the TE-4 because that's how I roll. I drill small holes, usually in hard to reach areas, so smaller is better for me. This guy is an absolute winner. There's a big price difference between these two as well. This one is, you know, almost double the price. So if you want that extra power, if you want the chipping mode, if you want to be able to stick that bloody right angled bit on there, go ahead and get yourself the TE-6. Because the TE-6, I wouldn't really say it's a full-on 28 millimeter hammer. It doesn't quite have the same impact force. The 2.6 joules of impact force, that is basically exactly what you would expect from a 1-inch or 26 millimeter hammer. But in true Hilti fashion, they've basically gone and built basically the best 26 millimeter hammer around. It is a bit weird that they say the maximum that this can do is 28, but they also say that about this little guy. And you know what? I guess it'll get there eventually, But that's why they do the optimum drilling range too, which is 6 to 18 millimeters in this case. Now, if the price puts you off, well, yeah, understandable. This guy does cost about double what your standard 1-inch hammer from, say, Milwaukee or Makita would cost you. But the good news is the Hilti Nuron platform has been around for about 3 years now, so there are actually starting to come some onto the second-hand market. So you might be able to grab yourself one for cheaper on eBay or whatever. Just be aware that Hilti only sells to commercial customers, so you may not be able to register your warranty if you do it that way. But anyway, hammerheads, I reckon that'll do it for me. So thanks for watching. I'll scratch you later.